you were still pretty young at this time, right? Were you like
Yeah.
22,
Oh, yeah.
23 when you worked?
Concrete plant. Yeah. Let me see. I was at Angola at 19, left after 3 years. So yeah, about 22, 23 years old. I'm driving concrete truck.
Got it. All right. So you drive the concrete truck. How long do you work for this company?
So I was with that company. That company had bought another company out, so I switched to another company, another location within the same company, because they wouldn't give me enough hours. I had a young family. They were only giving me 30 hours. They were sending you home. So I noticed every time we would get off the other location, they still rolling. So I said, well, hey, look, man, let me transfer down there, which is in what we know is Baton Rouge.
Got it.
And he said, okay, no problem, as long as you can get there. I said, well, I got transportation. And so I'm down there, working down there 70, 80 hours a week. I'm serious.
Got
in
it.
1 week, we rolling like that. Sometimes what we call in concrete business 2 o'clock pours, which means you got to be at work for 12.
Got it.
And then they will still keep you there all day, So I'm rolling 7, 8 hours a week, making $9.15 an hour.
Say, how much are they paying you?
$9.15 an hour. And so I had to find the sweet spot between, okay, if I make too much, they taking it in taxes. What's the sweet spot where they label you to see your money? So about 70, 72, 73 hours. I start popping that every week. So I'm there about 3 years, and in that third year, coming to the break room, several old men there. And the thing in Louisiana is plants. Everybody, if you get a plant job, you good. And so I come into the break room one day on that third year, one of the old men says, you're a young man. You need to be in a plant somewhere. You don't get caught up being here the rest of your life like me. I'm like, okay, all right. And I've always been a magnet to older men, listening at older men with their wisdom. And I got to thinking about that thing. He really struck me with that. And I was like, man, I was cool.
Right.
You
thought you was doing it.
Yeah. I was like, man, back then, $600-700 a week wasn't bad. Paying my bills. I'm doing all right. I'm like, wow. And I started replaying. My grandfather-in-law made a statement one day that I thought about when that man said that. He said, that boy worked from dark to dark, because when I leave out, it was dark. When I come home, it was dark.
Right.
And I thought about that. I said, you know what, that old man, right? I said, maybe I do need to get in the plant, more money, benefits, and I could make a better career like that. So I started out on that path trying to do that, and I made a few phone calls, people I know in plants, thought I had to hook up, went, took a test for these people, and then all of a sudden the hiring that they want to do, they good. They had all the people they do. I was like, oh man, I'm back to the drawing board. And so I thought, well, man, what can I use that I already know? What skills that I already have? And I was like, well, dude, you got CDL. Try that.
That's right.
I said, even if you got to go get the Class A, why don't you go into trucking? I said, okay, I'm going to look at that. So I started getting the truck paper magazines. I'm sure y'all have seen those.
For sure.
Started looking in there, truck driving jobs. I'm still not thinking entrepreneurship. I'm thinking, go and drive for one of these companies. So I think I called Schneider National.
Okay.
And I inquired with them, about, hey, man, what's up? Could I come with you guys? They were like, yeah, we got a program to where we'll bring you with us and train you. I think they still do that.
Okay.
You don't have to have any CDL. They'll bring you, put you through their program, and then, of course, you're meant to drive for them. And so I inquired about that, and I was looking at that. I was like, okay, I think that's what I'm going to do. Got the information. And same time, a friend who left Angola, the penitentiary, to do the same thing, he was looking at the same thing. I was like, well, man, we could go together. And then lo and behold, one day in that truck, I saw dump trucks. And I looked and I saw, and in that area, tandems were the thing. Weren't triaxles yet, tandems were the thing. And so I'm looking and I'm like, man, dump truck. And I said, never thought about that. I checked into it. You don't have to have a Class B. I said, man, I wouldn't have to go to school. I was like, well, man, instead of you going to do that, somebody else, you might as well stay here.
That's right.
Why don't do it for yourself? So I started thinking bigger then. Okay, truck for myself. And that's when I got the truck paper again. I'm looking at the trucks, looking at dump trucks, trying to find dump trucks. And lo and behold, we would be in Houston talking to you about this. Performance Trucks in Houston. Used to be right there. I think that was the 610 across from the Budweiser warehouse. A dealership called Performance Trucks. Had a triaxle there for $45,000. I was like, man, that's what I think I want to do. So I called I was a member of a credit union. Hey, look, how much money would you guys give me on the line of credit? They ran my credit, $12,500. I'm like, okay, I could get 12.5. Yeah, he's like, I could get 12.5. Okay, all right. Talking to the guy at the dealership, $45,000. He said, yeah, if you got 7,500 down, we could finance you. So this is the third year of the concrete truck, right? So I'm thinking higher. I'm putting in the hours. If I could do 7, 8 hours a week for somebody else, sure enough, I could do that for myself. I could do dark to dark for myself. Listen at this old man, I need to do something else. I'm a young man. Why not? And so it seems easy, but it was a process. Can I do this? Should I do this? There's a battle that always takes place between being comfortable and getting to where you want to go. But what I quickly figured out, success comes with being uncomfortable, at least initially. And so I said, you know what? I'm going to step out here. If it don't work, it just don't work. How will you know if you don't know, if you never try it? And so I took that 12.5, called the guy, hey, on the way to Houston, man, I'm going to get that truck. Came in here to Houston. They ran a dyno test on it. So I felt like engine, transmission, all that was good. And so, boom, dropped them 7,500. Here I am, headed back into Louisiana with my truck.
Okay.
Didn't know anything about LLC then, didn't know anything about being incorporated. And at that time, the business is called Perry Jones Jr. Trucking. That's it.
Got it.
And I'm headed back. And I'm like, okay. So I did some research, what I thought was research. I'm seeing the guys downtown on the river offloading barges of limestone off the river, because that's where our limestone yards were at in Baton Rouge at the time. Big old piles of limestone. They running off the yard. They stockpiling. I'm like, okay, cool. I get the truck. I can just go get on that. Don't work like that, right? But I get the truck, get insurance. So I got about, I think after I put the 7,500 down, got everything straight, I had about 3,500 left to get started. Insurance back then, $300 a month. Diesel back then, 99 cents a gallon, right? So low overhead. They were paying trucks $45 an hour. I'm like, okay, cool. So I'm out here. All right, get to the yard. I'm going to let them know who I am. Hey, I got a done truck. I want to get on this too. And, guy, okay, we'll take your name and all that. Okay. That hurt my feeling. I'm like, okay, I thought I'd just come down here, get in. What's up?
Right.
So one of the guys that had a triaxle, matter of fact, let me back up. At the concrete plant, old man, after talking with him, because somebody said his son and him was in dump trucking, I talked to him. He said, you need to talk to my son. I talked to his son. His son told me, say, yeah, man, if you're going to get anything, get a triaxle. So that's a part that I left out.
Got it.
That's how I got on triaxle, because other than that, I'd have got a tandem. He said, okay, if you're going to come out here, he said, you need to get triaxle. He's a great guy. Still good friends to this day. So he was on that yard offloading barges. So he said, hey, man, come get in the truck with me. I parked the truck, come got in the truck with him. He gives me the game. He said, look, this is what you need to do. He say, far as this right here, what we're doing, there's a crew for this. He say, if we're at one place, pretty much the crew already has slots. But if we're in two places at one time, he'll take it. Everybody at CB Hound, the guy Outlaw, that was his name. Give him your name and number. He'll call you if we're at two places at one time. So quickly, I'm like, okay, so the only way I can get on this is if they need help. They got their guys.
Right. Making sure that your compliance is on point is an integral part of any trucking related business. Today, I stopped by my friends over at Fleet Drive 360 to talk about what they're building to make sure that you can run a successful trucking company.
And it's everything from the minute you decide you want to hire somebody through maintaining all of your FMCSA compliance documents for ongoing fleet or owner-operator truck business. You've got a driver hiring and recruiting module where you'll create driver qualification files, import digital documents. You've got a drug and alcohol module where you can schedule pre-employment drug tests and manage an ongoing testing pool. We've got an accident registry so you can keep your mandated accident logs and even schedule follow-up drug testing for post-crash. We've got vehicle maintenance logs so you can not only maintain the compliance status of your vehicles, but also upload your work orders and compliance-related documents so you're audit ready when they come in. We've got a document repository, fancy words for digital cloud storage of any document that you want, not just necessarily the compliance documents, anything related to your business, post-crash videos, performance evaluations. And then finally, you've got the dashboard. And the dashboard's the most important part. You can close your eyes and glance at our dashboard, open them, glance at the dashboard, and immediately know whether or not you're compliant or not, both on a driver, company, and vehicle level.
It's one-stop shop for all your compliance needs.
He said, but this is what you do. He said, get the yellow pages. He said, look up all the construction companies in town, look up all the limestone yards in town, look at all the dirt pits in town. Call them, give them your name, your number, send your insurance over there. They will call you. He said, matter of fact, this limestone yard across the river, they looking for trucks right now. I said, okay, cool. So I was reeling from that because the game wasn't what I thought.
Right.
I had this picture of get a truck, go to work, right? Just that simple. And so, okay, regroup. I went across there, started working for that limestone yard.
Got it.
Cheap. I mean, the race was horrible. $2 a ton, like it was for everything. So you basically figure my truck was hauling 20 tons, so about $40 a load. And I'm like, you run all day 10 loads. We were making like $400. I was like, man, kind of tight here. But the good thing is the note on the truck wasn't but $1,600. So I said, okay, look, stick with this, learn the game, and $1,600 a week. 1 week you got the note at least, you know. And then the way that I did it, and this is the game I give on our channel, is that whatever my bills were, I divided that by 4, and that's what I paid myself plus $100 every week.
Okay.
So if my bills were $2,000, I paid myself $500 a week to cover the bills and an extra $100 starting out.
Got it.
And I would literally spend $20 a day on food or whatever, eating, and spend and make that $100 last.
Got it.
Right. So working at this limestone yard is paying cheap, but it's getting me where I need to be because, you know, $1,600 a week wasn't bad. I paid a note. I'm good 1 week. Insurance again, $300. Diesel's not that bad. So I start seeing profit immediately. All right, but boom, something happens. Got the first load on the truck. The truck sits down in the front. What's going on here? Doggone fender is rubbing the tire with the load. Well, another game I give the people, got to spec the truck right. This was a rider truck that had been converted from a road truck to a dump truck. So it's 12,000 pound fronts with 2 springs on the front, airbags on the back. I'm like, oh man. So I'm talking, hey man, what I need to do? You need to go get that front end built up. So go to the spring place that's known for all that in town. Went to them, boom. He hooked me up, put them springs on there, stack spring, about $1,500 thing I had to do. Boom, put that load on there. Nah, she's sitting up high. She doing like she need to do. Boom, next thing you know, going on jobs. I dumped the load because you got to dump the airbags. Get the airbags back full of air. I'm getting stuck on top of the ground. Like everybody else is rolling, I'm getting stuck on top of the ground. What is going on? Airbags. It was like, that ain't really the suspension you should have got. That's what guys start telling me. You should have got spring suspension for a dump truck. I was like, well, man, okay, didn't know. But I'm knee deep in here now, so I got to make the best of it. So ran across a friend of mine had a mechanic, and he kind of leveled, did some leveling with my airbags. Some other things made it easier for that truck to be able to be sturdy enough to stop getting stuck on top of the ground. So made that adjustment. So from then on, just started building from there. One of the turning points was going into the plants and jobs with the limestone yard. I started handing out my card. Hey, if you need a truck for something else, I'm not trying to take their business. We haul limestone to the yard for them. But if you need a truck in this plant on the job, let me know. Started doing that everywhere I would see people, construction. If it was a dozer on site, track hole, don't matter. Even if they hadn't started, I would stop and started passing out cards everywhere, you just get in with people. And so after months, those people would call, hey, 7-8 months ago, when you gave us your card, do you have trucks? We got a job. And I was like, I didn't even remember, but it was like, okay, it's paying off. So I started getting jobs like that. And then finally I hit a good one, Georgia Pacific, which is a paper company owned by the Koch brothers. Everybody know the Koch brothers. It's a paper plant. They wanted me to come in and bring some guys with me to do a job. I was like, okay. I was like, well, man, me and these 2 guys have been working together pretty much off the yard. I said, hey, man, I got a job coming up. Would you guys be interested in working with me to do this job? I was like, yes, indeed. We ain't got nothing else, you know. So we start realizing limestone yard ebbs and flows. You know, you might work a good week. Next week, you might not give it 2 or 3 days. It's not consistent. So we say we can get something consistent. This is the way to go. We went into that plant, that paper mill, for about 2-3 weeks straight. We was like, now this is what it's all about right here. And I quickly learned, okay, I'm subcontracting. I'm getting jobs, and I got guys still rough around the edge. I'm not really realizing what I'm doing, but okay, guys came in with me. So a big bump in the road was at the beginning. Everybody I call, I'm going to these contractors. Hey, I got a truck. I want to get to work for you guys. The first question they would always ask is, how many trucks you got? I missed it the first 5 or 6 times companies were doing me that. I'm like, I just got one. Oh, okay. All right. Sometimes they would take my name. Sometimes they wouldn't. I'm like, I'm missing something. What's going on? And then finally the light bulb goes off. They rather make one call and get 10 trucks than to make 10 calls to get 10 trucks.
That's right. And now a quick segment from our sponsor, Roll by ADP. As small businesses continue to scale, their impact strengthens and they hire and build more connections within the community. So Perry, when did you decide you were ready to expand your operation?
On last year when the work increased, I saw the need to expand.
Got it. What features would help smooth out the process of onboarding employees to payroll?
I guess just something that would allow for easy intake, not real too technical that would make it hard.
65% of small business owners are likely to invest in technology that makes automation easier. What, if any, tech features, capabilities would you want in a payroll app?
Being able to calculate the Fed, state, and FICA taxes so we can properly and generate pay stubs.
Perry said that having a payroll solution that is easy for employees to use and can calculate payroll and tax withholdings is essential to address your business needs. With Roll by ADP, you can manage payroll and tax filings effortlessly with just a few taps. For Truck and Hustle listeners, Roll is providing you with a special offer. Get your first 3 months free of running payroll and then only pay $24 a month plus $5 each employee. To learn more about Roll, visit rollbyadp.com/truckandhustle. Now let's get back to the show.
That changed the game for my business forever right there. So I tried it out, went back to them same companies. Hey man, got a dump truck. Yeah, I see y'all got work over in such here. I want to get on. How many trucks you got? I got one, but I got access to 10. I work 10 guys with me every day. Oh, okay. Let me get your number right now. That changed the game right there. When I figured that out. And so I just say, okay, the key to dump truckers is this. Because I'm one. I know when I'm getting paid, how much I'm getting paid, and you being a man of your word and giving me my money when you say you're going to do it. Right. That's all a dump trucker care about. How much and when. And I say, well, Perry, if you can, first of all, get it with the contractor to pay on time, then you can get these guys to come help you to do the job, because that's all the dump truck care about. You're paying me right, and you're paying me when you say you're going to pay me. And boom, I started doing that. Started getting little jobs like that. They paying me, paying the guys. Next thing you know, guys are calling me. Hey, we heard you got a job. We heard you got a job. We looking for something to do. And we just started building from there. And so I'm about 3 years in. And then I said, okay, well, I almost got this truck paid for because I had it on 3 years. So at the 2-year mark, rather, cousin just got me out of driving school. I say, hey, man, what you want to do? He said, hey, I'm ready. I'm with it. So I brought him in. I bought my first brand new truck, Capital Mac. I never forget, Baton Rouge. That truck was $93,000. Long way from where they at now. $93,000, a 2002 RD Mac. And that's when I began to expand. I said, okay, man, look, we'll put you in this older truck. I'm going to get in the newer truck. We're going to do this. Start expanding. And this is not really one contractor that I could say my own. This is just hustling. This is yards, dirt pits, just really just going at it, hustling. And so, but the Lord was blessing. The work was coming. People needed us. Guys were looking out for me. I'm always a guy that hung around the older guys. And so the older guys took a liking to me. I'm the young kid on the block, right? I'm only 25 years old. The rest of these cats is probably already 40. So I'm the new kid, but not only I'm the young guy, but I've always been a guy who's just older me and gravitate to me. And I've always gravitated to them because I just love the wisdom. I love the game that they give. And so I started hanging with those older guys on that crew. And the leader of that crew, offloading them barges, took a liking to me. And he say, called me one day, hey man, got some barges offloading in it could be in just say different cities in Louisiana. But in the area, you would have to go out of town, stay the night, and see them hands that those guys, we call them hands, right? Them hands that own the crew might not necessarily want to go to Vicksburg, Mississippi, right? Hey man, I'll go. So boom, we go. They give you 4 hours travel. You get your room. And you would come from up there 40 hours in like 30 days. I'm like, man, I kind of like this. So I took the little spot like that I worked my way up from being way down the list with this guy to the first guy he would call whenever he needed extra truck, whenever there was more than one spot. And then and everybody knows at the beginning of the year, limestone comes from Kentucky, Tennessee, these places, comes down Ohio River, come hit that Mississippi River, 3 rivers right there, and comes down the river. And so we see the barge come down the river, 10, 12 barges, man, we already know that's 3-4 days of work. But the key for us was you ain't burning no fuel. I could fill up on a Monday and work on that yard overloading barges the whole week and still be on a half a tank. I was burning more fuel going home, coming back than I was on the job. So everybody liked it that.
Right.
Hard work. It works the truck hard because you're dumping 40, 50 times a day. You're going around in circles, bag up on the river, get the load, come back on the yard, dump it out, go back and get another load. Round in circles all day. But I loved it because low overhead, see the profit, and these routes will pay every week.
Right.
So I tell anybody over time, and I've always seen this happen on jobs, even in entrepreneurship. If you hang in there long enough, you'll start to move up. Because for different reasons, people don't hang in there. Whether it be somebody's retiring, whether it be somebody's quitting, whether it be somebody going out of business, God forbid. But it just never fails. Something always happens to people. And for me, at least that's been in my case where I see, I was like, okay, I don't know if this favor or just happening. Right. But moved up and I became eventually a part of that crew. Part of that crew that offloaded barges for Martin Marietta. You might be familiar with them. Okay. Company like Vulcan. It's Lafarge now. Everybody knows Lafarge. And they had 3 yards in the area and then 3 or 4 other yards we offloaded. So they kept us kind of busy. And that's why I kind of helped to build that foundation. I could have one. Now that I got 2 trucks, I can do other stuff, but then I can send that truck on them barges and just let it stay over there. So I'm really, really getting a foothold, learning the game. I know the business now in and out. Get another truck. I go to 3 the very next year. I go to 3. And so at this point, I come off the truck because it got to be too much to handle. My daughter was born, and it's just too much for me to be on the truck and then trying to do paperwork, trying to take care of business. So that's when I got my first taste of kind of realizing that, okay, now you've grown to a point now, it's going to be hard for you to be in that truck every day. And now your role has to change. All right. And that's game right there. Right. As you grow, your role has to change. You can't be in the truck. Now, I know some guys that do it, but you're going to have a team, like your wife or somebody in the office handling that stuff if you're going to do that. But I embraced the role of, okay, now I need to be an ambassador. I need to be the salesman. I need to be the public relations guy and all that. And so, which is where I'm at now. But I embraced it back then and started doing that.
Yeah. Right. So it's amazing.
Let you get a word in there.
I got it. That's a great story, and I love it where you end it because it's like a full circle kind of moment. Like you got into the game thinking it was gonna be easy to get on that job, but you kind of went through, the process and still ended up being able to become a part of that same crew, right? So that's really dope. We are here live at OTR Solutions HQ. I'm here with my partner, Jonathan. Man, listen, factoring is an integral part of the transportation industry. Why is factoring important?
Absolutely, Ramel. In this economy, in this market, cash flow is king. Cash flow is the key to growth. If you have a young trucking company or if you've been in the industry for years and you want to take that business to the next level, we're absolutely a company that can help. We're a factoring provider that was born in trucking. So that's all we do. We focus, live, breathe the trucking industry. We offer fuel card solutions, freight through our partners at DAT, insurance, really any need that you have, we should have a solution to help you with it. So I hope you'll give us a call today. Let us know what we can do to help you out.
Get the rest and roll with the best. Let's go.
Well, I think I'm going to start helping guys. I'm on my way out. I've been in here 20 years. I think I'm going to do 4 or 5 more years. This baby girl is about to get into high school, and this is going to be it for me. I'm finna go ahead and look into doing something right off into the sunset. And started a YouTube channel and started helping people, consulting, that kind of thing. And then the business changed.
If you twisted, confused, or stuck about trucks, don't be dumb. This is the place to come. Truck and Hustle. Let's go.